I think all of us get caught up in the ebb and flow of life. So when we finally gain consciousness at around 20 years of age or so, we may have dreams, but many of those dreams are quickly changed. People say to us, "No, that's not a good dream. No, you'll never be stable. You'll never meet a boy or a girl, etc. if you continue with that dream." Little story. I had a student recently who was an extremely good artist. And he's sitting in my class, and I happened to glance over because he was doodling all the time with a notepad. Really good. So I said to him, "Wow, you of course are going to where? Paris, Rome, Barcelona." The mind runs. "Where are you going to pursue your art?" And he said, No, I'm not going to be an artist. This is just going to be a hobby because my father has a large company and I'm going to take it over." And I said, "What kind of company?" And he said, "My father was in the tool business, tools and screws, attachments, things along this nature. Huge, big business, lots of money." So I said to him, "Do you want to be in the tool business?" And he said, "No, not at all. Not at all. I want to be an artist." And I thought to myself, wow, we only have one life in this reality. So I love my father and my mother. I love my parents, for sure. They were good people. And I respect all my siblings as well. But I gotta live my own life. There is no choice. There is no choice at all. If you opt to live someone else's life, you are truly, in the end, going to suffer, and suffer tremendously. So, I'll tell another story, but firstly, why should you never be dissuaded from your dreams? Well, firstly, I think your dreams had better be real, given the talents that you possess. So let's say I dream to be a doctor, okay? So then for sure, you have to undertake 7 or 8 years of medical study, right? This is for sure, because you can't be a doctor without accreditation, obviously. I want to be an artist. Same thing. You have to be trained. You must put in your training and then your 10,000 hours, your 5 to 10 years of effort. And if you're really not willing to do this, then obviously the chances of you becoming that doctor or that artist are fantasy. And I'm not talking about fantasy here. Dreams are realistic expectations given your talents or the belief that you could acquire or learn those talents, as in my example of the 10,000 hour phenomenon. 5 to 10 years of intense practice. So why should you not be dissuaded from your dreams? Well, I think the very first one is that there's no one like me. There never has been, and there never will be. So my dreams, in other words, are uniquely mine. They're my dreams. And other people might be in the same genre. There might be other artists, for instance, but my style, as we know from art, is unique, for sure. And my dreams also reveal my purpose. Why am I here? What's my mission? Where am I going with this dream? They give me such energy. Usually, this is Dr. Csikszentmihalyi. Flow, the state of flow. We don't know the time. We lose the time because we're so involved. And a great dream, a truly great dream, obviously inspires others, doesn't it? When you're dreaming and you're showing people that you can make this happen, the dream unfolds. Now, there is a negative side here. If you have a dream and you just let it slip away, there will be, perhaps I don't like the word, but there will be at the end of your life, certainly regret. I was reading an article recently about an extremely wealthy man who was just beginning to fade away, and his biggest regret, quote unquote, was that he had never been an engineer. He had been something else. Shocking. Dreams also evolve, don't they? So when you begin your dream, let's say, for instance, you want to be a doctor, but maybe eventually the doctor becomes a surgeon or a psychiatrist. You specialize in something. So they evolve. And over time, your dreams, especially if you get good at something, begin to sharpen. If you look at the early periods of all artists, Picasso or whomever, they're not anywhere near as good as they are later in life. And it's to be remembered that life is not easy. It's going to challenge all of us, isn't it? And eventually, your dream becomes who you are. So what we actively promote, of course, is critical thinking and time. We ask all people to reflect intelligently on the meaning of life, critical thinking, and about time. And dreams are ultimately a conversation with your inner self, aren't they? With you and God, Gaia, the universe. With your dream, you truly feel connected to something bigger. And of course, then many people say that the dream will outlive you, but I don't really know if that's so important. But it's true, however. If you really do inspire people, they will continue to live your dream long after you are here. My second story. One day, a young woman was cutting my hair, and she began to speak to me in French of all things. So we got chatting away, kind of curious, and I said to her, "Why do you speak French?" And she said, "Well, I want to go to Paris." And I, of course, inquired as to why you want to go to Paris. She wanted to study design. I said, "Great. When are you going to go?" "Well," she said, "there's a problem." "Oh, what's the problem?" Kind of a rude question, really, to ask a young person. And I thought perhaps it was money because the haircut was not that expensive, etc. But this was not her reply. She said, "It's my boyfriend." Now, this was a good-looking girl. "Boyfriend? What about your boyfriend?" "Well, he doesn't want me to go." Well, of course not, because she was gorgeous. So I responded, "Get a new boyfriend." Because if you have someone in your life that does not want to encourage your dreams, get rid of them. Dump them. And if they're your family, put it all in perspective. Do not be stopped from your dreams. Truly not. Because if you speak to people sometimes that are on the street begging, they've also had dreams as well. And they will tell you, "Well, I had this dream, but I lost my wife. I lost my money. I lost my business. Circumstances change. And gosh, we really do have a choice in life because life is hard, as I've often said, right? You can either be a hero or you can be a victim. So stand back, take your beatings, take your bruises, and say to yourself, I'm not going to be stopped from my dreams. And I'm going to let my dreams unfold because I believe, and it's true, each and every person is unique and each and every person has a purpose to fulfill in life. So do not be dissuaded from your dreams. And you know what they say. You know what they say. Critical thinking is everything, and critical thinking is great. Truly great. You take care. God bless. Bye-bye.